Hi, everybody. Grady Polson. Welcome to the America Agency. Hello, everybody. Grady Polson. How are we doing today? Drop a 1. Let's go with the 1. 1's always a good one. A 1 in the chat below if you're doing all right. 2 if you're doing extra fine. 3 if you're fantastic. And I'm so excited for today's call. We got color splash going on behind me. Good job, Natasha, with the new logos and everything. So about 1,000 things going on. And then we also have one of the most impressive people and producers that our company has ever had the pleasure of partnering with. So Bilha Wachira coming, I can't even describe her presence, her energy, who she is, and how good she is at this business and what she's going to share with us today. So we're going to get to her in just a couple minutes. I got some bunch of updates to run through. We're going to rip through them, and I'm going to do my absolute best to get them going. But it's important stuff, and we got to talk about it because this is where you go. This is the only live show, right? There's one live show in insurance, and welcome to it. So happy you guys are on. Thank you for joining me. Bunch of 3s in here. Crystal Clark, Veronica Mo. Good to see you guys on here. So let us jump into the updates, and then we'll get Bilha on here in just a minute. Okay, so we're just going. Do I have an order? I have an order. Okay, quick commercial. Over the past couple months, it had Montserrat Vargas, top producer and agency builder, Dan Chernati, huge IUL producer, Dylan Priest, 100K a month, Digna and her team, Elizabeth, Diana, Pilar, Javier, Violeta, Franklin, Natalie, Sammy, and Fernanda, all on. You did a huge IUL masterclass. Kyle Yee, John Rint, and Jenna Sonner. On top of, we've had our carrier partners, Steve Buslog, Kelly Sater with Integrity Life Center, Parker with Instabrain with Matina and Frank, and our boy Devin Martin and Todd Bateman from NLG talking to us about how to get more business pushed through. And I love doing these calls, right? I love doing these calls. I love the platform. I love the opportunity for Bilha to be introduced to more people. I love that you guys invest time into yourselves to join me. Maybe you find me mildly funny and sometimes mildly educational, but you come for the guest. So, but on top of that, we take all these incredible people, and this is just the past 10, and we chop them into high quality YouTube videos, and we put them onto our YouTube channel. And this not frustrates me. What confuses or concerns me is there isn't more views and there isn't more people sharing these videos out, because the people that we interview on here are the best ones. And so for you watching right now, I hope you take some notes. I hope you really engage with Bilha's training and her mindset and the things she does differently than other people, which is what allows her to make $1 million a year in 9 months last year. I talked to Zach. He said she took 3 months off and went and built a farm. I mean, talk about just life by design. So all these things, right, for you, and I'm glad you're here. You're here, right? But at the same time, why are you not watching these videos repeatedly? Like, I'll tell you that there's Trey Honeycutt videos, there's Zach Twardowski videos, there's Andrew Taylor videos, there's Brent Abernathy videos from early in this company that I watched 40, 50, 100 times. 100 times I listened to Trey talking about walking into a house and taking his shoes off and waving across and getting out of the car and doing a wave and just the actions of how to become great at this business. And I try my absolute best to pull out the magical words that these producers use. And we spend hundreds of hours a month creating all this content. And I don't need views. We don't have monetary turned on. We don't have any sort of financial benefit other than you guys becoming better producers and agency managers. But the confusing thing for me is, why is it not being shared more or watched more? And that's okay, right? Jim Rohn would say, Grady, don't sign up for that class. Just keep going, keep taking steps forward. The people that watch it, the people that engage it, are the people that are getting better. But here's my advice. There's, I don't know how many, what's the number, Jade? 826 videos I have of life insurance, sales, and recruiting, business building training on this channel. Dig in. That's my only advice to you, is that we've created, maybe that's what it is, Jade. I just created so much, we've created so much content. There's just, you know, people are watching this. It's just it's spread across the whole platform, but that's it. I'm so grateful to the carriers. I'm so grateful to the agents. I'm grateful to people like Bilha, but I'm also challenging you to invest more time into yourself to getting better. I was coaching a guy yesterday who's had huge success in this business, huge numbers. And I was like, but right now he's in a dip, right? In life, there's peaks and valleys, right? Peaks and valleys. We go up and down, we go up and down, right? Every peak is followed by a valley, just the way the world is designed, thanks God. And then every valley is then followed by a higher, but usually greater peak, right? So you gotta, this is life. But how I challenged this agent yesterday, I said, dude, what you probably have, you've swayed off of the path of how you connect with clients, how you make them feel comfortable, how you move them forward, the advice that you give them as a broker, but at the same time, how you take control on the call. I was like, how often are you doing sales training? And he goes, I don't at all. And I'm like, okay, well, that might be something that's affecting you from the CRM-ish, you know, from all the leads you bought, from like everything you've got going on. You've got to keep working on getting better. I try to listen to an audio or watch a YouTube video, read a book, counsel someone all the time on sales, leadership, communication, because I know if I'm not growing, I'm regressing, right? Elite people, I'd bet a good chunk of coin that Bilha spends time each day, each week, each month on improving herself and her communication skills. She's counseling someone. She's got mentors who've advised her. At the same time, she's seeking counsel from books and audio. So that's where it comes all the way back around, guys. I got this archive of hundreds of hours, thousands of hours of elite people. Dig into it. Take advantage of it, right? We're going to keep doing it, whether or not if we get an uptick in views or not. But I just, if you're on here, I'm challenging you to invest more time into here, which then makes you better out here, which makes more right here. That's the difference, right? Some people, wish for it. Very few work for it. And it takes time to invest in yourself. So jump in the channel. Thank you to all our speakers. Can't wait for the Bilha. We'll have Bilha on in a week after this. She crushes this training. But this is the commercial for your personal growth. And you reflect back. Encyclopedia says, I'd explain to my daughter what an encyclopedia was. She did not know what an encyclopedia was. She's 12. She's very smart. And she's like, what is that? I'm like, well, we used to have these books. It'd be like 26 books, 28, because sometimes like A was extra, you'd have 2 A's or two W's or whatever. And you could go in the book and you could just turn and learn about whales. And then you could learn about Europe. And like, this is how we learned about things. She's like, why wouldn't you just Google it? And I'm like, we didn't have Google. So this is an encyclopedia of information for all of you guys. Take advantage of it. It's digital. And thank you for everybody that continues to invest in themselves. But here we are continuing to press on into the future. So top 100 agents for the past 3 weeks. I got a micro delay over here. Here we go. Past 3 weeks, August 25, 11 million. We are up 2 million over June. July, that was the last month. 2 million, just incredible. I would take more time here, but I'll spend more time on it next week. I want to get to Bilha, but just incredible. 11,287,000, 1,856 agents, top 100 agents. Incredible job. Shout out to our boys at Lead Champ Pro. Continuing to reinvent the communication, lead deliverability, all kinds of great assets they have for top producers. And if you're not yet a top producer, stick to Life Center. It's an incredible tool. Next week, I'm traveling to Dallas to learn more about Life Center, Integrity Connect, all the great tools that Integrity has created for us, and all the benefit that you guys get to take advantage of for free from Life Center. But when you're at the next level, you're spending a big chunk on leads, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $20,000 a month on leads. You need a robust system, a robust tool to help you prospect, follow up, auto book appointments, keep persistency high, book referrals, beneficiaries, all the great tools that they have and created over there at LCP. Take advantage of that. Use code FFL for $50 off. It is the best CRM that I know about right now. Until there's a better one, I will continue to promote them because I'm just so proud of the work they do and how much they care. They do weekly calls, all kinds of great stuff. So if you're not using them and you're selling over 30 grand, I'd book a demo and talk to them because you're going to like what they have. So moving on. Thanks, Elise. We have a pool. What am I looking at here? Ignite. Oh, okay. Ignite. Do we know when it ends? Last call, discounted Hilton rooms. Natasha, will you drop the link in the chat? And then we'll also post it in FFL America's Slack today, probably in an hour or two after this call. But Ignite, guys, I can't even tell you how well this event is going. I was just on the phone with Sean, literally 30 seconds before this call started, talking about it, talking about seating and how we're at night. This is 3 days ago. We were at 1,918 people registered. We've got a daytime event, English from 9 to 4, and then from 5 to 9, a nighttime event with the Latino group hosted by Digna. I can't wait for that. Just going to be an absolutely incredible day, a huge event that we're so proud to have. It's hosted in Palm Beach, Florida at the Hilton, at the Palm Beach Convention Center, but it happens to be attached to the Hilton West Palm Beach Hotel. You can book a room there at a discounted rate. Thank you, corporate, for negotiating that for us. Natasha dropped the link in here, but we'll also post it in Slack. We'll send an email out. Also check your email from corporate. Get your hotel room booked. Stay there. Book an Airbnb. There's like 50 lock-ins happening around in Palm Beach. It's 87 now in Arizona, but it was like 104 yesterday. And so to think about Florida, October, cool breezes. I don't know where you are right now, but October, Florida just sounds nice to me. Unless someone's like, Grady, you don't want to go to Florida. That's when the scorpions come out of the sand and they steal your towels. I don't know what happens in Florida. You find out different things about places. But discounted room rate, take advantage of it. Get to Ignite. It's gonna be an incredible event. So many speakers. 88 top producers and Hall of Fame producers and agency managers will be coming across stage, and so much more stuff to come. So I can't tell you how excited I am for this event. I'm excited for it to happen, and all the great people. I was just talking to Zach and Ronnie, and they're helping me with the event promotion, how many people they're bringing, etc. Hundreds of people Ronnie Salem's bringing. Guy's doing $5 million a month now, so shout out to him. But moving on. Here we go. Get your room rate, get your room locked in. The next day after that event, Sean is hosting his Savage Sales Boot Camp 2025, Palm Beach, Florida. And I will be there. Jay Masco will be there. Andrew Taylor will be there. Zach Twardowski will be there. All of our top people will be there. And the whole goal is to help you guys get better. And I'll tell you that one of the greatest blessings in my life is the amount of time I've got to spend learning from Sean Mike. And he's at a position now where he's so busy with carriers and contracting and integrity and all the things that he's entrusted myself and Hayden, Zach, Andrew to help take into more of a leadership or managerial role within the company. And I'm grateful for the trust. But at the same time, my wish for all of you is that you guys get to spend and learn from him and his mindset, his drive, his discipline, his passion, and to put yourself in a position where you can mentally grow and mentally trust yourself to become fearless. And that's one of the things that he does so well. So if you're coming to Ignite, the absolute next day in the same room at the same place is his Savage Sales Boot Camp. Unbelievable event. I've heard. I've yet to go to one, but all I've heard is raving things. And Jay started going to them 2 years ago, and now he's one of the fastest and biggest growing agency managers in the company. So I couldn't be more excited for that. But yeah, go ahead and get yourself registered. Join us. If you're coming to Florida, stay one more day and let's get better again together. Spend some time and take you and your business to the next level. This last one? Killing it. All right, last one. And I want you to do me a favor. I'm going to give you a phone number. If you're watching on your phone, this is going to be difficult, but I want you to take a picture of this. I'm going to give you a phone number. This is Devin Martin. So if you're with us, this is great. He is our carrier rep. You should have his number. If you don't, do this just for fun for me, but do me a favor. I want him to go, what the heck just happened? Because that's what's fun about this. But next week, okay, let me back up, Grady. I'm so excited. Next week, I'll be in Dallas Tuesday, Wednesday, and I'll come home at midnight, and then I'll be here to do this call because we do it live, and we're winners. So we do things. That's right, Jade? Yeah, we talked about that. So next week, Devin is coming on to talk about their brand new product they built for us. Brand new, simple IUL for us, 500K in, let me get the details. Hold on. We talked about this so many times. I'm going to tell you, this is our brand new product we have coming out called the Rapid IUL. Simplified issued instant decision IUL from NLG. 0 to 60, 4 rate classes, 100% instant decision at the end of every app, up to 500K, cash value illustration flexible, no rolling target, only 15 questions on the app, and you get a 10% comp increase on this product, and it's exclusive to FFL. It is launching this month. Devin will be on this show next Thursday in 7 days to break it completely down. So what I would like you to do for me, if you could, I don't ask a lot. Sometimes I ask you to write 1s, 2s, and 3s and invest in yourself and believe in yourself and work hard. I do ask for that. But what I'm going to ask for you right now is to take this phone number, 802-505-3506. 802-505-3506, and take a picture of this screen and send it to him. Screen and say, Devin, can't wait to learn about the new product next week. Because the reason is compliance at NLG is like, we're still working on the PowerPoint. And I'm like, Devin, you got to get it done. He's like, I'll get it done. So if we can get 50 or 100 people to text him saying that they're excited to learn about the brand new Rapid Protect IUL, major game changer, higher comp, exclusive to FFL IUL that he's launching on this call next week, we'll push him to get it done. So the number, one more time, 802-505-3506. Please do me a favor, take a picture of this screen with him on it and say, can't wait to hear about the new product next week, or however you want to say it. You don't even have to, don't take the picture if you don't need to, but just, I want you to text him, say, can't wait to hear about the new product next week. Last time, 802-505-3506. Hey, if you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong. So thank you. Get excited for next week, complete breakdown. And we're going to learn all about this brand new product, exclusive FFL, which is actually so fun. Last week, Jade, right? I was in Dallas at a private NLG IUL event, and I got to meet Bilha, who is I wanted to say Tinkerbell. That's what came out of my head. But like a glowing light of just positivity and confidence and energy. And then she's just, you can meet people like that. But then she sells millions of dollars of IUL. And that's what we do here. All we're trying to do in this business is help people. Hold on, Devin's calling me. Hold on. Did you get some text messages?
I have about 39 text messages.
You're on live on the call right now. 39. Good job, guys. So screenshot that, send that to compliance, and tell them you got a bunch of people ready to learn about this product next week.
Dude, I'm gonna have to change my number now.
Oh, no, they're good people. These are all agents on our call. There's a good people. And if you would like, guys, text Devin your number, tell him how much you love IULs and how much more you love NLG than any other carrier out there, because NLG is our partner. So love you, Devin. We're live right now with Bilha, and just wanted to send you some love. So talk soon, brother. Bye. 39. You guys killed it. Good job. Thank you. I appreciate that. And now he knows he better get it done. So appreciate you guys. But okay, Bilha, let's bring her on, and then I'll love on her some more. So hello.
Hi.
How are you today?
I'm good.
Wonderful. Let me give you a good intro and we'll get after it. So hello, everybody. Grady Polson. Welcome to the America Agency Call. So excited to have Bilha Wachira on with us. Help me say it the right way.
Wachira. Wachira, if you want to say it in my language, Washira, but just keep it Wachira.
Washira. Okay. Bilha Wachira on it. I had the great pleasure to meet her recently at a IUL training event, and without question, it was the highlight of. I mean, not only was it nice meeting a bunch of other people, but it was so great to meet someone who's doing things differently and doing things differently at an elite level. And I don't know what's above elite. It would be like godlike level, but we're not going to start. We're not going to be disrespectful to the man upstairs. But her energy, her passion, her excitement, her confidence was something I was like, I need to share you with more people. And I want to learn more about what you do, because you've excelled at such a high level. Zach Twardowski sings your praises. Juan Franco sings your praises. And I just was excited to learn from you. And then I was like, hey, let's turn this into a great training call. We'll get her to share all her secrets, and we'll go from there. But Bilha issued over $1 million last year, and according to Zach, and you can clarify this story, you took 3 months off and went and built a farm. So talk about a skill set that is something that we all want to model after. But at the same time, I'd love just people to meet, to get to know you, learn from you, your background, your story, how you found us, and then we can jump into the fun life sales stuff.
Great. Zach is telling all my secrets.
He does do that.
All right. So my name is Bilha Washira. I'm from a country called Kenya. So I was a life insurance agent in Kenya. I started selling insurance when I was in college. So I was a student. I was studying Bachelor of Commerce. I don't know what they call it here, business administration. And I was attending classes in the evening. And I had all day. And my mom, she's a real African mom. You do not sit at home. You're 18, 19, you do not sit at home. And she was like, you got to find something to do. And I'm like, what do you want me to do? Find something. And she sent me to get a job. And I think I went there and I told her I didn't find that guy. And then she told me, there's this guy that sold a life insurance policy to me, and he looks like he's doing pretty good. Do you want to speak to him? And in Africa, my idea of insurance agents was those people that were door knocking and nobody wanted to speak to them. And I didn't want to do that. I was like, you want me to do that? And then she asked me, what have you got to lose? And that rings a lot of meaning for me right now, because I say that to agents right now, new agents. What have you got to lose? Just give it a shot. If it doesn't work, then it didn't work. But had I not given it a shot, I bet I would not be who I am today. I mean, I owe my mom for kicking me out of the house at the age of, I think, 22. Go find something to do. Go try this insurance thing. If it doesn't work, then at least you tried and you can say it didn't work. So I went in, I was trained for 3 weeks. And in Africa, in those days, I think it was 2005, we didn't have e-app. It was paper apps. It was paper apps. And there was like a folder that you had to carry with you to go. And in Africa, there was no leads. You could not mail anything to anybody. It was door knocking. You had to door knock. And it was before 9/11. You could walk into any office and speak to people. You could walk into a hospital and speak to doctors. So they took me to the field. We call it the field. So your manager took you to the field and taught you how to speak to strangers. Like, I'm going to walk you into a school and we're going to ask the principal to give us a chance to speak to the teachers. And all your manager did was walk you to 3 appointments, 3, and you were on your own after that. It's amazing that I help my agents with more than 3 appointments. All they did was 3. Like, I'll take you to a school, I'll walk you to a hospital, I'll walk you to a corporate of sorts, and just show you how to walk in and ask for an opportunity to speak. And I did my 3 with my manager, and I went back to my mom. And my mom worked for the IRS in Kenya, Score KRA. I went to the 14th floor and I told her, okay, they gave me this, you send me there, so you tell me where to start. And what my mom did, she took a piece of paper and wrote names. That's referral, right? Isn't that what referral is? She wrote names of her friends. And she told me, go speak to these people and tell them that I sent you. I don't know if you guys realize how powerful that is.
Yeah.
Because when you're asking for referrals, how do you ask for referrals? Can I say that you referred me? Can you write down 5 names for me of your colleagues, of your friends? And what I did that week, I went and spoke to my mom's friends. And every Friday, we had to go back and report business. You know how we report business on Wednesday? In our team, we do it on Wednesday. We had to go with the paper applications and report business. And I think I had 6 applications on my first week. I didn't even know that was good production. And everybody was like, wow. And I'm like, oh, is that good? I was like, yeah, that's great. And then, of course, when commission hit, when commission hits, then, and especially at 22, like, now my whole attitude changed towards the business. And I sold insurance for a while. And they taught us how to network. You have to nest. They taught us how to nest. Go into a building and nest around that building so that you're not hopping to different buildings. So I would walk into a corporate and nest around a bunch of engineers. Or some agents would go into a hospital and just nest around nurses and doctors. And some people did schools. They just went into one zip code and did all the schools in that zip code. That's how insurance is sold in Africa. We don't have leads. And so over time, you kind of master the art of approaching strangers. You master the art of door knocking. You kind of have to be very comfortable with rejection to sell insurance in Africa. You're walking into people's businesses and saying, hey, I have a plan that I need to show you. I have I thank God for it right now. It was tough back there, but when I look at what I'm able to do in a country like this with lots of opportunities and high net worth people, I'm thankful for that. And so when time came for me to come to the US, I was Googling how much does an insurance agent make in the US? And Google told me that an average agent makes $70,000 a year, an average agent. And I didn't consider myself an average agent. So I kind of figured I was going to make more than 70, and 70 was good. I mean, coming from Africa, 70 is like management level in corporate. So when I came in, of course, I had to start where all the immigrants start. I had to get the easiest job I could get. And I had 2 jobs. I was working day and night. I had a day job.
When was this, Bill? When did you, how many years ago?
2018 is when I started working in this country.
2018. Amazing. Yes. Okay.
So that's 6 years ago, I guess. Yeah.
You live, just for clarity, so people know, you live in Washington.
I live in Washington State.
And is that where you moved here when you moved here? Is that where did you start in Washington?
I came into Texas for a month and then I crossed over to Washington.
Like, it's hot in Texas. I'm gonna go.
And I'm glad I'm here. I mean, there's way more opportunities here. Yes. When I look at how I network here, I would choose Washington any day. Amazing. But I was working for, well, let me say this. I studied for my license. I went to a school. Like, I didn't even know there was online. I had nobody to hold my hand, literally nobody to tell me where to start. So I walked to an agency where I bought my auto insurance and I told them, I would like to sell life insurance in this country. Do you know where I can start? And they said, to begin with, you need a license. And there's a school up the road. So I went to the school up the road. And when I was in the school up the road, some recruiters got a hold of me. And they were from a company, I'm not going to name it. They're very aggressive, And they said, once you get your license, we can, they would show up at the end of class and try to recruit brand new agents. And they said, once you get your license, we would want to show you how to get into the industry. And I took their number. I didn't know how to get into the industry, so I took their number. So I studied and passed my life insurance license. And when I got my license, I called these guys and they came a beehive of them. Like, somebody brought their manager and another manager. So there was 3. And I was telling them my story and I wanted to know what comp they were going to start me with. And they said, oh, they had this big story about people making millions in their industry, right? That they said they were going to start me at 35%.
Oh, all at once, huh?
I was like, I just came from a third world country and I didn't make 35. So I don't think you're the right fit for me. Google tells me something else. So I'm not sure. I don't know where to start, but I know it's not going to be with you guys. So I took my time before I signed up with an IMO, and I honestly did not know where to start. So I went to Facebook. I'm very good at researching things. I'm awake at 2 a.m. in rabbit holes looking for information. So I went to Facebook and I would DM random people. So I would type life insurance and I would DM random people. And I talked to, and insurance agents are amazing people. They would get back to me, and I would say, I'm trying to get into life insurance and I've already spoke to this IMO and I'm not going with them. I need a way to get, because I would call insurance companies and they would tell me, you cannot work with us directly. You have to find an IMO. I didn't even know what an IMO was. And so this guy from Senior Life told me, so what do you have in mind? What's your goal? And I said, I'm a producer. Like I believe I'm a good producer, and I'm looking for a company that would give me a good comp, And he asked me, are you looking to build? I said, I don't think I want to build right now, because building in Kenya was kind of complicated, because I watched how managers who managed, I saw agents making more money than managers that managed teams. So it was not done the way it's done here. In Kenya, you had to stop working to run a team. And I kind of did, I didn't come into this thinking I was going to build a team. So I was like, I'm just looking for the company that will give me the highest comp in the industry. And then he told me, you need to go find Family First Life. Yeah, that's what he said. He didn't even work for FFL. And he said, if you're looking for the highest comp, you need to go find Family First Life. And I wish I could find him, and just thank him. He has no clue what he did for me, because I would have started pretty low if he didn't tell me about FFL. So I went on Facebook again, Family First Life near me. I would go to Google. I would go to Family First Life near me. So I went to Google Family First Life near me, and an agent popped up that lived 10 minutes from me. And I sent him a text message because his phone came up. And then I went to Facebook and I Googled Family First Life near me, because I didn't want to pull up an agent in Texas and I was in Washington. And I pulled up and I found Brian Rowlands, and I sent him a message. And Brian was so fast. Brian responded, I think, within a day. And before the other agent could get back to me, Brian already had me, studying, because I think I had done my life. I had not done my health. Those days you had to have both life and health.
Sure.
Because there was something about that then.
Yep.
Now I think you can go by. And he already had me going with the health, And that's how I got contracted and I started selling. Of course, those days it was final expense. If you remember.
Oh, yeah.
It was buy leads and drive. Map your zip codes and drive to those homes and sell final expense.
Yes.
That was hard for me, That was hard for me because, one, I didn't have a very nice car. My car was pretty old. And then I'm a person of color. And I'm driving into the woods to go and meet Sherry, that is 75, and talk to her about final expense. That was tough. And I was like, why is this so hard? I think I know how to sell life insurance. Why is this so hard? I think I sold 3 policies with the leads. Yeah. And I quit. I keep telling my agents I quit. I quit and went and got employed. I went and got a job at American Family Insurance. And I got a night job. So I had a day job and a night job. And I was selling auto and home at American Family Insurance. And what I did is that whenever they came for their auto and home, I was cross-selling life insurance to them. So they would come in to renew their auto insurance, and I would talk to them. Okay, I've done your car, I've done your home. Do you have life insurance? I started cross-selling on a $3,000. I think I was making $3,000. I started cross-selling at where I was employed, life insurance to auto and home clients. And I think I probably did around $200,000, but I was earning $3,000, right? And I realized, oh my goodness, it's not that I can't sell life insurance. I can sell life insurance. I just need to find a way, right? So what I did in 21, I quit both my jobs.
Okay.
I went to zero. I started from zero, and I'm like, and then I said, I'm not gonna buy leads. I know how to talk to strangers. I know how to speak to people. And when I was in American Family Insurance, I came across Kenyans. And it was so easy for me to speak to them because we speak the same language. In fact, the most of the policies that I sold in that office were to Kenyans. They were happy to see me because I spoke their language, and I was happy to see them. And they signed up. They bought big policies because, well, she speaks our language and she breaks this down so easy. So I said, I'm going to go find me some Kenyans and I'm going to sell them life insurance. So
Okay.
I remember seeing people going for convention, and I would feel so bad. I was stuck in an office, and I said, I'm going back to FFL, and I'm gonna do it my way. So I think I know how to sell insurance to strangers. So I went back and I told my manager, I'm not gonna buy leads. Just allow me to try my way. So I didn't know. Remember, I was still new in the country. I didn't know too many people. So I started calling. I would go to my WhatsApp and call people. Hey, our kids are in soccer together. I have this plan that can help you pay for college for your child. That's how I started. I would call random people we were in WhatsApp groups with. I would go to churches and ask the leadership to give me a chance to speak. Hi, my name is Bilha. I'm a life insurance agent. Would you give me a chance to talk to your people about protection? Right? And it started slowly, I was new to them. They were Kenyans, but they didn't know me.
Sure.
And this is what I keep telling my agents. Your first year in warm marketing will be your hardest because they're looking at you as a stranger. So it don't matter how good you know your product, they don't know you. So I kept going. I remember I stayed in a guy's house for 3 hours trying to convince him to buy a $50 America policy. He didn't buy.
Okay.
And I had parked my very old car down the road because I didn't want him to see my old car. And I had to walk down that hill to my old car without a sale. If I didn't quit that day, I don't think anybody should. Because you see my journey, I'm coming through, a lot of trial and error. I try this, it fails. Try this, it fails. And I kept at it. And I kept going to a point where they're like, oh, you're the insurance girl. So I'm going to soccer with my business cards. If I'm taking my son to soccer, I'm giving all the parents. So as my son is playing, I'm talking to all the parents over there. Hi, my name is Bilha. Do you have something for your son for college? Are you protected? I'm networking around the parents while the kid. And then I remember there was, what is it called? Is it a beauty contest? Pageant. There was a pageant, and I went and I asked, who is the leadership? Who is the organizer? And I saw there were sponsors. I didn't even have a penny to sponsor, but I had the guts to go and tell the leadership, hey, I would want to have a chance to say something next time you have something like this, And I started going to little events in my neighborhood, just saying, hey, I would like a chance to speak. I would want to speak to you. And then I discovered that there's a Facebook group for Kenyan women in the USA, and it had 14,000 members. So very quickly, I joined that group, and I started doing live videos in that group. And that's where now my business picked up. I went into a group called Kenyan Women in the USA, a group I love dearly, I support, because I don't know if my career would have picked up had I not gone into that group. And this is the most beautiful thing about Facebook. It's one thing when I'm speaking to 12 parents at soccer practice, right? And it's another thing when I go into social media in a group that has 14,000 people and I'm doing a live video. It means 3,000 people are watching me. I mean, it's 12 parents, one-to-one, or 3,000 people on social media. So I started doing my live videos in that group.
What do you talk about?
I would talk about protection. I would talk about if something happened, if you didn't get home today, would your kids pay the mortgage? Would your home be foreclosed? If, God forbid, you got a cancer diagnosis and you could not work again, would you want compensation? Are you prepared for retirement? What are you doing for your retirement? How much money do you think you need to retire? And there were times I didn't even have people watching. And there was a time there was 5 people watching, and then even the 5 would leave. But I kept going. I think I have about 30 videos in that group right now. But right now, when I go in, I would have 100 people watching. They know me, right? And then they started identifying me with life insurance. And anytime they came, somebody would come and say, hi, Bilha. Now they know my name. But guess what? They had to see me, what, 12 times? And that's why I say anything you do to put yourself out there takes time. They have to see you 3, 4, 5 times talking about the same thing until they can identify you with that thing. People know me as a life insurance agent. I mean, I walk into a social place and they say, hi, Bilha, I want you to talk to my husband about life insurance. I don't even know who they are, but they know me. They just know I'm the life insurance person, you know? So it has gotten easy over time as more and more people saw me doing the same thing over and over. Repetition is the master. Repetition. You don't have to be smart. You don't have to know everything. You just need to say it over and over until when they think life insurance, nobody else comes to mind for them. Somebody called me last week and they said they were selling to an agent, and when they were selling to a client, and when they were done, the client sent them my video and told her that's how life insurance is sold. I don't know what they did, but somebody sent them my video. So that is to tell you it's taken time to build a brand in that community, right? So for me, I believe what we do is important, right? The awareness. And when I was at Family First Life, I attended a workshop. If you look at this book, this is Jim Effner. It's called Bridge Your Gap. I wanted to understand protection. Before we get to cash value, I wanted to understand protection. And I attended that workshop and it was eye-opening, you know. I read this book and I tell people you don't have to read everything in a book. I think I read page 170 to page 190 and I figured everything I need to talk to people about protection. I went into my community and people had 100,000 in protection. And this book told me at least $1 million, right? They have minors, they have a mortgage, they want their kids to go to college. So I learned how to have protection conversations with people. So if you didn't go home today, how does that look like? Paint that picture for me. You have a mortgage, okay. What are the payments? Would your spouse be able to make those payments? Would your spouse go to work or take care of the children, because there's 2 of you right now and one takes care of the children and one goes to work? So if you didn't go home today, would your husband go to work or babysit? So would if mortgage payments didn't come home, would there be foreclosure? Would your children lose the home? Do you still want your children to eat when you're gone? Because Africans are very superstitious about death. And it was very hard for me to talk about death to Africans. They would knock on wood like, hey, I'm not going anywhere, right? And I was a little bit intimidated talking about death to people. But then I realized, you know what? The ambassador told me that we were ferrying 480 bodies back to Kenya every year. That should tell you that people were dying. But how many of those left anything for their family, for their children? How many of those? Probably less than 20%, right? And what is the cost of insurance? And I started a campaign that I call $1 million for 100, $1 million for less than 100. And that's the NLG term policy. Anybody below 40 can get $1 million for less than 100. And this is what I tell people. You can get $1 million for less than 100. What do you do with $100? You take your children to McDonald's and buy them hamburgers and fries and a McFlurry, and $100 is gone. But if you didn't go home today, these kids would be homeless. These kids would not have a birthday party. These kids would probably not get to college. Do you care beyond this point? And when people tell me I don't care when I'm gone, and I'm like, who are you referring to when you say you don't care? Because these are your dependents. These are your children. This is your spouse. So you mean you don't care? So you say, I could die. People say, I love my children. I could die for them. Okay. So God forbid you die tomorrow. Do you care what happens to them? Do you care what happens to them after that? And that gets them. And I ask them, what do you do with $100 that you're not going to protect your children with it? You go buy a pair of shoes that you don't wear. It doesn't bother you. Your car that is not even worth 20 grand is protected with more than $100. that should you lose your car, you get a brand new car. But for you, whose life your children depend on, if something happened to you, do you care? Do you care that your children eat? Do you care that your children keep the home? And that has worked. That, for me, protection is not something I'm apologetic about. I see agents trying to position themselves as investment advisors, as, I don't know, some say I'm an attorney, estate planning. People try to act like they're not insurance agent. I'm a life insurance agent first, because without protection, everything else is irrelevant. Okay, let me say I just bought up a house and it's worth $500,000. I mean, I'm doing pretty good, right? I'm doing pretty good. I'm a homeowner, right? But if I dropped tomorrow, does my child own a house worth $500,000? The house is not fully paid. And I tell people, I get it. You have 3 homes. You have done pretty well for yourself. What's the mortgage balance on the 3 homes? So if you drop dead tomorrow, your kids don't really own the homes. Foreclosure will come faster than they can say, give us 3 months to raise the mortgage, right? So people think that they have net worth or they're doing well because maybe they are making 6 figures, you know, and they think, okay, I don't see my children suffering if something happened to me. Can your children run your business? Okay, I have a 14-year-old right now. People think that I'm doing pretty well. Like, people look at me and think, oh, she's doing pretty well. Oh, she has invested in real estate and this and that. So if I did show up tomorrow, is Jaden going to come and sell life insurance so that the agency can keep bringing in money? I mean, the mortgage company will still expect payments, right? My child still will want to go to college. So it doesn't matter how many properties I have in real estate. If they are not fully paid, that is debt. So it starts with protection. It doesn't matter how hot the debate is. It doesn't matter whether they are CPAs, whoever intellectuals are on the table, whether it's an investment conversation or a retirement conversation, there is no way to start it without protection. You have a 30-year goal. Okay, in 30 years, I'll be worth $5 million. But I'm in year 2. What guarantees do I have that I will not suffer disability, that my spouse will not get cancer before we get to year 10? We are drawing 30-year goals with no protection. We are sitting ducks, all of us, like sitting ducks, me included. Cancer does not tell you, hey, I'm checking in 2 years, pay off your home. Cancer doesn't tell you that. When you get on a plane, you pray that they signed it off, whatever engineer signed it off, that is safe to fly. You pray that you get to your destination. But we've seen those things come down. They take off mid-air, come down and kill people, right? Yeah. So ideally, we are sitting ducks when you don't have protection. I don't know if everybody feels as insecure as I feel. You know, before you can say my net worth, I am worth $2 million. Literally, my homes are paid off. I have $1 million in liquid. How many people can say that? Not many. For you to tell me you don't need protection. So your homes are paid off. Nobody's coming for your homes if mortgage payments don't come. I have $1 million. My child can have a birthday party and go to college. Should I not go home? How many people can say that? Half the people cannot even afford a mortgage payment should they get cancer and not clock in. 60% of America are just one paycheck away from bankruptcy. And people say life insurance is for the rich. The rich can afford. They can afford a disability. I mean, Jeff Bezos can afford to take care of his whole 3 generations down. You, who is living paycheck to paycheck, you're the one that needs insurance more than everybody. Because should you suffer a disability, then your spouse becomes your caregiver and you both go bankrupt. And then you have minors. Literally, you're responsible for those children. You have minors looking up to you. And then what are you going to tell them? We didn't see this coming. Do you know how many people call me with a cancer diagnosis that they got last week? They have watched my video 2 years in a row. They've watched my videos, but they call me when they're holding a cancer diagnosis and they're telling me, can you get me? And it's too late, ma'am. Like, I wish you called me like last month. So, and then I asked them, so how is your financial situation? Because you're going to be going for treatment for the next 3 years. You're going to have multiple surgeries. You are likely going to lose your job. I mean, how many employers are going to keep you if you don't clock in for 3 months because you're going through treatment and the treatment is driving you crazy? I had one of my clients go to Kenya because health insurance could not pay for her pain medication. And she could not afford it out of pocket. So she had to fly to Kenya where she can seek alternative treatment, right? So I'm very passionate about protection, and I'm not apologetic about death because I've seen people leave children that are in the system. I tell my community, we have Kenyan children in the system, in foster care, because nobody wanted to take care of those children and the parents didn't leave nothing. So how do you sleep at night knowing that you don't have $100, $200 protecting your family? And your family, I mean everybody. Everybody. When I go to a family, I'm protecting you, I'm protecting your spouse and your children. I'm protecting you, your spouse, and your children. Why? I have had stories that are, I have a client whose son was shot in Maryland. And she could not live in that state. She didn't work for a whole year. She could not get out of bed. So, one, you're grieving. We get it. You're grieving. But your bills don't know you're grieving, right? The mortgage company doesn't know you're grieving. They are still gonna come collect. So when you lose a child, people don't realize that people grieve differently. So when I say protect your child, I'm not trying to tell you to make money when you lose your child or when your child is sick. I'm just trying to provide resources for you to support your child so that you don't go bankrupt as you're supporting your child. So you don't go bankrupt as you're grieving. Misfortune will hit your none of us are immune to misfortune, death, accident, and illness. But we're trying to say, I want you not to have to worry about money when you're grieving or when you're unwell. Can we put you in a place that you're not worried about money when you're seeking treatment? Can we not have you depend on the community? Go fund me. We were cracking jokes in Dallas and we were saying, go fund yourself. Like, it's not go fund me, go fund yourself. Because I come from a very supportive community, and anytime we go fund me, we raise $20,000. 3 years later, this person is still seeking treatment. This person still crippled 3 years later. What will 20 grand do for them? Right? So before I even go to the are you well, I'm very big on protection. If I didn't have to do anything else with my career, I'll protect families. And I keep telling my community, we are constantly in WhatsApp groups. Do you know how much we give? We give to the tune of $400 a month. Somebody died, somebody is sick, somebody got an accident. And I was telling them, we are growing poor together. We are burning $400,000 in GoFundMe's for the community. $400 a month. If you put that in an Are You Well, that's probably $500,000 if you're 30 by retirement. Literally, we're going backwards, right? And even then, as we give that 400, we are chipping in. We are not even taking $1 million to that home. We are taking 20 grand. So we are trying to do what the insurance company should do as a community. And I told them, I want us to get to a place where when somebody dies, we ask, did they leave $1 million? How much money did they leave? Because the conversation we have right now is, how do we bury this person? How do we ship this body back to Kenya? We need to raise 35 grand. Okay, go fund me. Fine, we go fund me and ship the body to Kenya, but there's minors right here that don't know where the rent will come from next month or who's going to pay the mortgage, right?
Yeah.
I bet we are sold on protection.
Bilha, that was incredible. Your passion for it and your ability, and if anyone taken away, which everyone is blowing away in the comments, is your passion for real, right? Stories, what's happened, what could happen, your depth at which you're putting protection conversations. You didn't come home today. Where are the kids going to eat? How are they going to eat? You know, you have so many perfect lines. Please, guys, go back and write these down and take them for what they are, because your passion for what's real and seeing it in your own community impacts you so deeply. Because, you know, car wash, GoFundMe, the guy on the side of the road holding up a sign, people posting in Facebook groups that so-and-so something happened, right? Why are we not self-funding, self-taking care of ourselves and leading with that? And I love that that is your mission and your passion. And especially going back, you know, coming from your homeland, like how much you just want to impact that group and that community. It's beautiful. I have 1,000 questions, and I need to dial in this, because there's a few things I want to get from you. Okay, so your presence, your passion for it, you've seen it, you live it. No one is. You get a meeting, they're either gonna, you know, as my father would say, they're either going to tell you to bleep off, or they're going to buy insurance, because you're going to challenge them so hard on what their priorities are and their bad habits. And, oh, you got a real nice fancy car out front, but you can't put $100 to protect your, I mean, I could imagine the level of depths at which you push people, which is what professionals do, right? So to get there, so you said from finding clients, because you don't buy leads. So it's all warm market, it's all community. Right. So from Facebook groups, live videos, churches, community events, you got 1, 2, 3, 4 others, some starter things. What are some other things that you would advise these agents to start to tap root in their community to find and assert themselves as the insurance agent in their surrounded market?
You have to be very deliberate in everything you do. You know, you're on call. It doesn't matter where you are, you're on call. So everywhere I go, I'm having a conversation. I'm genuinely trying to get to know people. Okay. I want them to remember my face. I want them to remember my name, right? So if I'm at a baby shower, I'm gonna make friends with 2, 3, 4 mothers that we can have coffee next week, and I'm gonna tell them what I do, right? Okay. So if I'm at a wedding, I'm having a conversation with 1, 2, 3 people, right? And it's more, I feel what we do is important, that we need to spread the message to everybody. Whenever somebody dies, I ask myself, did I do my job? If they died without life insurance, did I do my job? Did I have a chance to go to their church? Did I meet them? And I've had friends that either lost somebody and I had not educated them, or I've had friends that I found crippled and I didn't tell them that they could get accident protection. And I beat myself up. I wish I told them about it and they did nothing about it, right? So everywhere I go, it doesn't matter if it is a wedding, if it is a birthday party, if it is a church, I'm trying to get to know who the leadership is, you know, and I'm trying to tell them what I do.
So what are your opens? How do you, I'm an insurance agent. Are you protected? Or do you had a line about, you know, are you saving for retirement or for college for your child? Like, do you have 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, you got your few lines that, you know, I'm going to try this one on this, you know, I mean, that's what people are like, what does she say? All right. What are the magic words? You know, and you're probably like, I just say hi and I talk to people, but we all kind of need like a baseline. What is a couple good opens that you start with?
So let me talk about religious leaders, because for me, that's a good ground, because that is where a lot of GoFundMes go. They go to church. So I approach the church leadership and I say, hi, my name is Bilha, and I protect families. I like to say I protect families, because that is something that's a very, it's not an intimidating way to introduce yourself.
Sure.
I protect families, and I don't know if you've had cases in your church where members have had to come to the church for help because they suffered a chronic illness and the church had to come in and support, right? And I have a plan that costs $100 or less, where we could protect each and every church member so that if something like that happens, then the member is better supported and the church doesn't have to carry the burden of GoFundMe for this person, you know? And the fact that I say protection and then I say $100 or less, and for me, $100 or less is very important, because it disarms them that I'm not here to ask for half your paycheck, right? And I feel most people can afford $100. And I ask, do you have a platform where I could speak to them? Do you want to give me 5 minutes after service? Do you have a day when I could come and say something, right? And if it is an employer, for example, I know you've hired 20 staff members. Do you find yourself having to support their families when something happens to the staff member? Because you could get insurance for all your employees so that the burden doesn't fall on you when they have an accident, or when they, I have a pitch for every situation, right?
So
And
church,
even
employer. Now, yeah, okay. This is we're getting this is fantastic. So,
and this is like, say, a group of ladies, and we are seated somewhere, and there'll be gully conversations. There'll be gully conversations about retirement, and I'll talk about women like to talk about different things.
sure.
Women like to talk about menopause. Women like to talk about breast cancer, for example.
Sure.
And if there's a health-related conversation, I'll talk about cancer right now, because I can tell you for sure right now, there's a crazy increase in breast cancer amongst women. And women ask each other, have you done your mammogram? And I'll talk about how many women are calling me with a breast cancer diagnosis, and I'll ask, hey, have you got checked recently? And do you have insurance? Should you come down with something and you had to seek treatment for 2 years? Do you have something? Because for 100 or less, you can protect yourself, so that should you ever find yourself needing to seek treatment, or you had a growth in your body and you didn't work for 2 years, then you get income replacement. I take a chance to throw it in any level of conversation. Oh, these are kids having a good time. It's a birthday party. Hey, do you have a college plan for this one? This one is 300,000 for college. I have a plan. You can put $50, 100, so you can throw it into all sorts of conversation. And especially children are a very easy way to introduce yourself to people, Yeah. And I like to tell people, I have a plan that helps you save for college for these ones, Beautiful girl you have right here. I have a plan that can help you save for. Are you doing something for them for college? I mean, most parents people love their children more than they even love themselves. So if I am breaking the ice with a conversation about your child, I compliment you on how pretty she is, beautiful dress, and I tell them, you know what, I'm taking out my card as I speak, right? And I'm handing them a card, and I'm like, guess what? I have a plan that can help you save for college for your children. Maybe we can have a conversation for 100 or less. You can do something for these kids so that they don't have to take out loans when they get to college, right? So if you know what your product does, because our products provide solutions for challenges people are living through, right? Children are graduating with what, 100,000 in debt? I wouldn't want that for my son, but what am I doing about it right now so that he doesn't have 100,000 in debt by the time he graduates? So would I share that with another mother at a birthday party? Of course I would. I would ask them, what are you doing? Even if they don't call me, they'll think about it tomorrow and remember that I talked to them about it. Hey, what were you saying about that thing? They will call me 2 years later. I've had people call me 2 years later, So what you're doing is that everywhere you go, you're planting seeds, you're sharing your card, I once saw a real estate agent that walked into a party, and that impressed me. He walked into a party and said, first things first. He went around giving everybody his business card. Then he sat down and asked for whatever, And I thought, wow, that's very brave. Because I had been there like 3 hours and nobody knew what I did for a living, right? He standard, wherever he walks in, he just gives cards before he sits down. Somebody might be shopping for a house and he's right there. So everywhere he goes, he's giving his card. So you're planting seeds everywhere you go in small ways. It's like a fisherman. What do you do when you go fishing, right? You don't sit in one place and keep throwing your rod in one location. You throw different, you don't know where you could get a bountiful harvest. So you're planting seeds everywhere you go. You're doing something on social media. You're doing something with a church. You're doing something with a girls group. If I see something on Facebook that there's women that are having something, I want to go to that thing. I want to know who the leadership is. And I want to know if they have vendors. I'm always asking, do you have vendors? Can I put a table and talk to people? Can you give me a chance to speak? Can I sponsor your event? Right now, I'm in a place where I say I can sponsor an event in exchange for 5 minutes. I want the stage. Yeah. Before, I think the most I could afford was a table in an event. I think they charge $500 for a table, still cheaper than leads.
Sure.
I would pay $500 and set up a table in an event, and people would walk by and I would tell them what I do. But right now, if I see an event happening, I'm calling the number and I'm saying, hey, I would love to sponsor this event in exchange for 10 minutes on stage. And I want to talk about retirement planning and protection and things that are important for the community. They might say no, and then they might say, next year, call us next year. We already have a full, schedule. Whichever way, knock 3 times, the 4th time you get a yes. Knock 3 times, the 4th time you get a yes. So you keep knocking. Like right now, I'm looking to network with other professionals in the community, and it's working very well. I have a doctor who is sending me clients this week because I invited him to speak in a conference I was speaking in. He's a Kenyan doctor. So I invited him to speak in a conference I was speaking in. And people were so impressed that they said they'll make him their PCP. And so when people go to him, he's asking them, do you have health insurance? And I can send you to Bilha. Bilha got you on that. So now me and the doctor are sending each other clients back and forth. I have my mortgage lender who we work together, right? And when he sells a house, he asks them if they have insurance. They have, okay, fine, we got you a house, but you might want to talk to Bilha about protecting this house should something happen. And he's sending me people, and I'm also sending, when I'm talking to people, I'm not just an insurance agent. I ask them about whatever plans they have. Do they have home ownership plans? So do you have a mortgage lender? I can hook you up. I'm talking to them about estate planning, right? You have 2 million in life insurance. Do you have a trust? You don't want this money to go to an 18-year-old. They'll blow it. So I'm going to go find an attorney, or I have an attorney I can refer you. And then the attorney is like, I cannot give you a cut legally. I'm like, I don't want a cut. I just want you send me people. Let's trade clients. The same way I'm referring people to you, could you refer people to me for life insurance? Could we have coffee and I tell you what I do, and see if you can have these conversations with some of your clients, and then we can, CPAs, same with the CPAs. I have a CPA that sends people to me, and I send people to him. So networking is about building relationships. And the thing with building relationships is you're in control. You can target high network people. Leads is, okay, I'm going to buy leads and see what comes out of it, right? Right now, I think there's target advertising where you can target people of a certain network. But with leads, you kind of have more control because you know the community, you know who the people that matter, who are the CPAs, the attorneys, who are the realtors in that, because those people know people, right? The lady that came to put up a security system in my house told me I'm in $1 million homes every day. I was like, sit down, ma'am. We need to talk. Yeah. And I'm going to recruit her. And if I don't recruit her, I'm going to get her to get me to those homes she's going to, right? So everybody, if you're alert, everybody has a network behind them. People matter. And that's why I tell people, your network is your network. Who are you hanging out with? Is the person you're hanging out with wasting your time? Or is the person you're hanging out with going to be a lead to your next big deal or your next big market? So you got to be deliberate. And that's why they say if you hang out with 10 millionaires, you're the next. If you hang out with 10 people who don't know what they're doing, you're probably not going to be better than them. So you kind of become very strategic in the networks. And I tell people, build good relationships, because my business has been built by relationships. The people that have supported my business are people I never thought would support my business. But because when I meet people, I pay attention. I have conversations. I want to get to know them, right? When I talk to my clients, I'm not just talking to them about retirement planning. I need to know what they're doing. I need to know who their children are, what plans they have. And if I can refer them to somebody that can help them with something else, then I'm building value through that. People call me for things and I'm like, why are they asking me for a criminal attorney? I'm not even, but that's how they see me.
Yeah.
You know, people, find somebody for me, you know. Then I have to go read reviews and call them back and say, oh, try this guy.
Become a connector. The connector guy always gets paid. Someone in the middle. So, okay, 2 final questions as we wrap this up. So, because this is just exceptional, Bilha. Your volume at $1 million of issue rate, like, are you just running massive apps from $100 to 2, 3, 4? You push them up a little bit, 3, 4, 500, or do you have a lot of big cases? Was that like how do you produce 100K plus a month level? That's my first question. And then the second one is, how does Bilha simply explain IULs? Because a lot of agents that are on here, they're going to watch this and go, I don't know how to say it. I want to say it like she says it, because she clearly knows how to say it that isn't confusing, that gets people excited, and they ask more questions or want to move forward. So final 2 questions as we round. I could talk to you for hours. I have more calls coming up. This is so fun. But so how is your production getting to this level? What are you doing? And, you know, is it apps? Is it huge policies? And then how do you explain IULs? Because that seems to be your number one bread and butter.
Okay. So, like I said, I'm very big on protection, right?
Yes. Okay.
So I do a ton of term policies, right?
Okay.
And I'm getting 3, 4 apps out of one home.
Okay.
Remember, I said I'm not here to just protect you. I want to cover your spouse and I want to cover your children. So in every home I go to, I need to know, we just protected you. Is your spouse protected? Are your kids protected? So I'm getting 3 apps out of one home, right? So it's an IUL on mom, and I'm doing a term and an IUL on everybody if I can, if they can afford it. Why? Because if all they have is an IUL and then they have a terminal illness claim, then that's the end of the IUL, right? If a claim happens, it kind of terminates that contract, right? Yep. So I'm trying to make sure that they have a term and an IUL. Your term is for protection. Should something happen, we are claiming from your term policy, so we can keep your IUL for life and for retirement income. So one, I'm doing a term and an IUL. I'm going back to people I sold IULs to that didn't have term policies and just putting a term on them and explaining why you're great. You have an IUL, but should you have a claim, that's it. And then you will not qualify for something else after that. Now, again, like I said, I throw seeds everywhere. So there are times I can use an influencer. I used an influencer in February and wrote 300,000. It just issued slowly and looked like I was doing 100K a month. But that one YouTube video that I did generated 300,000 in production. That's when I went to the farm. I think I went to the farm. I was like, that's enough production to run me 3 months. Took 3 months off. But so I prefer to use persons of influence to do videos.
Okay. Because
it brings in more viewership. The people that called me were not people that knew me, but they called me because they knew him. He's a person of influence. That's why they're called influencers. So they called me because of him. And even when they called me, they say, oh, I follow this guy a lot. I watch his content and I saw you in his video, right? I could sit there all day talking to them. They don't know me, but when I use an influencer, then so I have gone a notch higher where I use other people in my videos, right? So that I tap on my following and their following. And then, of course, I sell across the board to everybody. So I'm doing different things. And then again, this is accumulation of 3 years of planting seeds. I've worked less this year than I did last year. This will be the easiest million I'll write, I think. I probably take more time off this year because my phone is still ringing right now with people that want insurance because somebody sent them, or they saw my video somewhere, or they saw me in their church. So I've planted seeds in so many places that right now, even if I decided I'm not gonna work again for the next 3 months, my phone will still ring, right? So it's a mix of small and big cases. I write everything But then I have assistants. And this is what I tell anybody that is writing 200,000. You need an assistant. You need somebody to do the follow-up, because then that is not work that is bringing money. If I'm calling NLG about underwriting, then I'm not selling. I should. So I have 3 assistants that do the follow-up, and it releases me to sell, right? Then
well, you want to be top producers out there. You heard it here. 3 assistants.
Yes.
Now, are they in the Philippines, or are they near you?
2 are in Kenya.
2 in Kenya. Okay.
And 1 is here.
1 here.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So I think my production tripled when I got assistants, because then even if I submit 100,000, somebody else behind the scenes is doing the follow-up. I don't know what, and at 7 a.m. every morning, I get a report. We need paramedics for this person. We need to sign these policy documents. So I don't think I'd be moving as fast as I'm moving if I didn't have help. 2, I left my house and went to an office. When I was working from the house, I was very distracted. I was doing laundry at 3 and cooking at 11 in the morning because I didn't have clients in between. So I left my house and started working from the office. And I was more productive when I was in the office as opposed to when I was working from home. Because 1 minute there was a cut in my face on top of my computer, and then I figured I need to defrost food. So it's very distracting. I admire people that can work from home 100% without distractions. But as a mother, there will be a lot of distractions in the home. So I like to leave my house and go to an office. I can put in 5 hours of solid work and go back home. I'll be more productive when I'm not distracted, right? So I had to invest in an office. I had to invest in assistants. So it has helped, move my business much faster than I did before. Now, IUL, I think I've covered the volume question. So I need to go into the IUL.
How do you explain it? What are some simple bullets, etc.? How do we
I think the IUL is a genius, bro. Every time I sell the IUL, I sell it to myself again, and it doesn't matter who I'm speaking to. The IUL still makes sense, whether it's a high net worth client or just a 40-year-old that has done nothing for retirement. And the fact that I sold insurance in Kenya and saw people lose jobs, and the only money they had was the money they had in the insurance, that should tell you people don't save much. Yeah. People don't have much liquidity. I have found people with 4 homes and 0 liquidity. Like if something were to happen to them, they would go bankrupt. So for me, and this is how I explain the IUL, and I start with the retirement conversation. What are you doing for retirement? They will tell you. I have a 401k. How much money is your 401k? $100,000. Okay, great. Do you have anything else that you're doing for retirement? What's your current age? I'm 40. Okay. At what age do you want to retire? And they'll say 60 or 65. And I'm like, do you know how much money you need to retire? Have you thought about how much money you will need to retire? And that's a conversation most people have never had. People know that they're going to retire, but they have no clue how or how much it's going to cost. So I start there with them. So all you have is 100,000. You're 40. So you have 20 years left to work. You need at least $1 million average, and that's not luxury, just basic. You need at least $1 million to have a comfortable retirement in this country, and that's not to say $1 million will be $1 million in 30 years. And I talk to them about people who are 65 right now that can't get jobs. I spoke to somebody who was telling me every time I put in an application, they decline me based on age. And he can't afford not to work because he doesn't have much. And I talk to them about nurses that are working with arthritis because they can't afford to retire. And I ask them, do you want to work into your 70s? Because if you retired with 100,000, let's assume you retired with 300,000. You make 50,000 a year. You're used to living within 50,000 a year. How many years will it be before you run out of money? 300,000 divided by 50,000. How many years before they run out of money?
6.
So you retire at 65. At the age of 71, you've run out of money. Guess what? You're knocking at Walmart asking for a job. or you're going to have a toxic relationship with your children because you're going to start depending on them. So I started with a retirement conversation. I'm yet to meet somebody with $1 million in retirement savings. And I even like to have these conversations with high net worth people that are heavy on the real estate side. Because the one thing they don't realize is that, one, liquidity in real estate is not something you can convert overnight. So fine, I get it. You have 4 homes. God forbid you suffer a heart attack when you're 70 and you need care, then the most you'll have is rental income, right? What if you need a $300,000 to go into a nursing home? It means you have to sell one of your homes. What if you're selling one of your homes during a recession? Right? So real estate is beautiful, but not as a retirement plan. And I've been having the liquidity conversations with high net worth people a whole lot. You have 4 homes, but you've no money. So if something happened to you, you're selling a house. And then I educate them about capital gains. That's a taxable investment. So whatever you sell, note, we are in a buyer's market right now in real estate. Literally, people are begging people to buy homes that have been sitting for a year. So here you are at retirement, and all you have is real estate, and you're trying to convert that in a market like we are in right now, where you have to knock off 100,000 to get a buyer. So it means not only will you knock off 100,000 to sell that house, IRS still comes for capital gains. And so I tell them, you're going to need a supplemental retirement plan, one that is liquid enough for you not to sell your assets at a loss. And 2, not anything that you're going to owe the IRS. And this is the thing about things we are sure about: death and taxes. We are sure those will happen. Death and taxes will happen. So what am I doing with an IUL? I'm introducing you to a savings plan that will give you 6 to 8% in interest. Who gives you 6 to 8% in interest and doesn't lock up that money? Not a CD. Well, okay, you're very good at the S&P 500. If you needed to liquidate, can you just exit at any time? You gotta wait when the market is good for you to exit. So this is a liquidity plan for you. So savings plan, 6 to 8 compound interest with access, 48-hour access. Where do you get? Even a bank sometimes cannot give you your money in 48 hours if you need it. They don't keep it with them, right? This is the one place you're going to keep liquidity access in 48 hours tax-free. And I'm having a taxation conversation with people, because when I see people comparing S&P 500 and cash value life insurance, I'm like, I get it. Okay, you say you can get 8 over a 20-year period. And I was asking AI, I love AI, and I asked AI, take $1 million, okay, invest it in real estate, invest it in S&P 500, and then I want to put an equivalent in cash value life insurance, and show me 20-year projections net of taxation. You'll be surprised that a lot of people think they are ahead when they go into real estate, and there's nothing wrong with real estate. I'm just saying that you can't put all your eggs in one basket. You need a bit of everything. You need real estate, but you also need liquidity, right? So that should you need 200,000 for something, you're not selling something at a loss. So at least 30% of your assets should be liquid. And where are you holding liquidity? The bank will give you 0 point, right? Where are you holding it? In a CD, it's taxable, and you can't get it out. If it was tied for a year, you kind of, have penalties, right? 401k, again, this is the most beautiful place you can hold liquidity. And I teach my clients about overfunding their IULs, just to hold that liquidity there. Overfund your IUL, because you have 100,000 seated in your bank account that you don't need for the next 3 years. Overfund your IUL. You're still going to have access 3 years down the line when you're down paying a house. But in those 3 years, it has earned something, right? And this is the thing I say. This is the only product. One, covers you death, accident, and illness for life. Two, is tax-free. Three, we give you 6 to 8 and give you 48-hour access. Where do you get that? Show me. I'll go there. I've been looking for real. Show me 6 to 8 with 48-hour access to your liquidity, right? And this is why I tell people you need liquidity. You need liquidity for 2 reasons. One, emergencies. You could wake up one morning and you need 100,000 for an attorney. That's an emergency. How many people have 100,000 seated in their bank account? People have 500,000 seated in their cash value life insurance. Not many people just have 100,000 lying somewhere. So that cash value life insurance, not only is it good for the long run retirement, along the way, it will bail you out for emergencies and 2 opportunities. Your neighbor could sell their house at a loss and you're seated right there with $500,000 in your IUL. 48 hours, you have money out and you can close on that house in 48 hours. So liquidity is a very important conversation that I've been having with high net worth people. Taxes and liquidity is a very important conversation for high net worth people. Discipline is a conversation that I have with people that struggle to save. And I tell people, the reason why people don't retire with much is not because they don't make much in their working life, is they don't put away much. People are not good at making sacrifices. That I want to retire with 2 million, so I'm going to buy less shoes. That doesn't happen. People buy shoes and dump them in Goodwill and buy more shoes. But by the time they are retiring, they barely have 100,000 in savings, right? So, and I tell people the IUL is going to work because it's auto-paid. It's not something you have to think about. Just let the money go. And I tell my clients, could you let this 500 go and forget about it? Stop looking at it in year 3. Forget about it until you're 65 or until you need to take a child to college. This money will bail you up. Right? Yeah.
Bilha, it's absolutely, and I wrote an AP class, I use masterclass too much. So I'm trying to think of new ways to describe the absolute elite way in which you just gave us so much value. I am so grateful to you. Everyone, please drop a BW in the chat below to show Bilha some love and appreciation, because just, I mean, as you're closing here, I think about my 6 IULs I have on myself, my spouse, and my 4 children, and how I'm looking at it and I'm like, it's not really growing. I'm like, okay, just don't look at it, right? The plan wasn't to take it out at 41. The plan is at 65, Grady. The plan isn't to look at Christians at 10. The plan is to look at it at 19 when he needs it for college, right? That's the plan. So stick to the plan. And I love your message there. So Bilha, this was an exceptional call. Everyone, please, how do they connect? How do they see these videos? Are you on Facebook, Instagram, both, TikTok? Are you everywhere?
I'm going to paste it on my Facebook and all the groups that I do live videos.
Got it. Okay. So Facebook is, but people want to learn more from you, want to follow you, want to see, get into more Bilha elite training. They can find you on Facebook.
Thank you. Thank
Perfect.
you.
All right, everyone, please go follow her. Any final words of inspiration as we close out this call?
I feel like we are at the peak of our industry. If ever there's going to be millionaires in the next 5 years, they're going to come from life insurance.
Amen.
There's more agents out there doing the work. So people are more aware and sensitive to life insurance than before. National Life Group CEO told us we're still short 100,000 agents. That should tell you there's more work to be done. So if you took this seriously and realize that what we do is important, you have a chance to be the next millionaire. So long as you take this seriously and you make this your passion, you know, and when you go out there and do good. Do good by your clients. Do good by the people that you're speaking to. This is a great opportunity for anybody in the industry and anybody that wants to join this industry to join a lucrative career.
Amen. Bilha, thank you very much. I appreciate you. I'm grateful for you. And I'm so excited to continue to learn from you and spend more time with you here now and in the future. Have an amazing day. Everybody, you heard it. 6 years, 7 years she's been in the U.S. Can't talk about how you've got it tough or you've got it hard or we've got it, don't have a leg up on society. She's been here for 7 years and is changing her life, changing her community's life, and impacting people all the way back to her home country. An incredible story, and one that we can all just harness, take to our heart, and get after and go to work. So appreciate you for joining me. Thanks for giving Devin some guff for me. We'll look forward to see you next week. Here's your moment of Zen. Thank you guys. Bye for now.
Swift's masters are sold in 2019. She's not happy about this, right? They're sold to Scooter Braun, who actually reads the Daily Stoic every day, so it's cool with me. But she doesn't like it, right? That's what matters, is that she doesn't like it. She decides that's not something that works for her. So after she reminds herself to calm down and then reads this tweet from Kelly Clarkson, one of the most epic tweets of all time, I think we'd have to say. She decides she's going to do precisely this, right? So she re-records her first 5 albums and has basically been putting out music almost every day since that point, right? So Taylor Swift was, of course, very successful, very popular, very well known before this, but it becomes this sort of springboard, the act of constantly releasing music, being the cultural center of the universe now for basically 3 or 4 consecutive years. It not just transforms her and her career, but it elevates her to a level of pop stardom that I don't think anyone has ever reached before, maybe other than the Beatles. And you look at the Eras Tour, the Eras Tour is possible, right? Precisely because she's just reintroduced a whole generation to her music. And I think what's interesting too is it's not just that she becomes bigger and more popular as a result of this process and seizes control of something that she didn't have control of financially before, but the songs get better too, right? It's this remarkable example of taking something that you never would have chosen, that you thought was profoundly unfair or screwed up, right? The worst part of the music business, and it becomes this catapult, right? And 1989 is the most streamed album of all time. She's Time's Person of the Year now, right? What we do after the thing has happened to us is what matters, right? And it's not that everything is this, right? That everything becomes the catapult that advances our career to stratospheric levels, right? That's not always how it works, right? Life is much more brutal and frustrating and unfair than that. But we always have the opportunity to decide the end of that story, what it's going to mean to us, how we integrate it into our lives, who we become